I'm Suresh Jora, publisher and managing editor of South Asian Outlook and president of Global Home Media, which publishes South Asian Outlook since July 2001. Our guest today is Arnjeet Sangha. She is contesting from the riding of Brampton South for Conservative Party.
Actually, it's Mississauga, Brampton South.
Sorry, Mississauga, Brampton South. Do you want to redo it? Please. I am Suresh Jora, publisher and managing editor of South Asian Outlook and president of Global Home Media, which publishes South Asian Outlook since July 2001. Our guest today is Arnjeet Sangha. She is contesting for Conservatives in the riding of Mississauga, Brampton South. Arnjeet is a radiation therapist by profession. Arnjeet, were you born in Canada?
I was born in England, in Southampton, England, and I came here in 1976 with my family, my parents and my younger brother.
What made your parents come to Canada?
I believe for the opportunity to come here to a new country and raise their family here.
And what were your early experiences in Canada?
Well, I've been here since I was 10, and so I went through primary and high school here, as well as university. And I've always had good experiences here. I've always had nothing but pleasant experiences in Canada with the people, with all the communities. I don't think I have a bad memory, to tell you the truth.
Did you feel that your parents faced any discrimination because of their color and appearance or anything else?
I think it's always difficult for immigrants to come to a new country. I do know that they had some trouble at first finding employment in the areas where they had the training, but they persevered and eventually they got their employment where they were trained. It did take a little bit of time, but they got there.
And what were your own personal experiences in Canada?
As I said, I've been here since I was 10, and I've experienced a lot of the communities in this area. I went through the Catholic school system, so I've been exposed to that community. Going through high school and university, I've met a lot of people, and the experience has always been good. In my career, I've met a lot of people who are facing a very difficult time in their life, dealing with cancer and with their own mortality. And I've always been amazed at the strength of people, what they have inside of them.
From your early experiences in Canada and UK, what differences come to your mind?
I think, well, I was very young when I left England. I was only 10, so I don't have a huge background in how things were in England. But I think something that's happening here is the rising visibility of minorities here that have already happened in England, and some of the interactions between the communities. I think that's transferring, maybe not quite as quickly as in England, but it's happening here as well.
You must have gone back to England after coming here?
Only a few times. I've been back when I was quite a bit younger for summer holidays a couple of times, and I've been back for a couple of weddings, but just for a few weeks here and there. I haven't been back that many times, actually, maybe 3 or 4 times.
What did you do after your studies?
Well, I have a Bachelor of Science from the University of Toronto, and that was in biology. And from there I went to Sunnybrook Hospital and studied radiation therapy. And that's how I became qualified to be a radiation therapist. Excuse me. And I've been treating cancer patients for 13 years at Sunnybrook Hospital.
How did you enter into politics then?
Politics was something that I've sort of been in the background for a while, sort of supporting candidates that appeal to me. I sort of came in the forefront at this point because my children were old enough. I have an 11-year-old and an 8-year-old daughter. My 11-year-old is a son. And I felt they were old enough, and they expressed to me that they felt, they understood that, it's quite hectic at this point in the weeks of the election, but they realized that things will calm down, win or lose after the election. And I think they were a little bit young before that to understand that, so I sort of held back until this point. And I just felt that somebody who had my background, maybe my beliefs, my desires for the country, there may be other people in the area that feel the same way, and we'll see how the election goes.
How was your ideal in politics?
Who's my ideal? There's a few people I can sort of speak to at a local level. We have in the Brampton, Mississauga area, we have 2 female mayors. It's sort of a rarity. Hazel McCallion is the mayor of Mississauga, a very strong woman, strong leader. And we have Susan Fennell in Brampton, another strong leader. And I think I've sort of, I don't want to say I've mirrored myself after them, but they're, showed me that women can do it and can have a strong position in politics.
Mayor Hazel McLennan is like mayor for life.
She's a very popular person, and she gets the job done, and I've never heard a bad word about her. It's a very strong woman, and I think that's something to look up to.
How has your family background contributed to your political ambitions, let's say?
My conditions, I think...
ambitions, political ambitions.
Both sides of my family are politically active, especially my in-laws, very politically active. I have quite a few brother-in-laws that are very well known in the community and have supported other candidates, and kind of given me maybe a wider knowledge of what's happening in the community and what's important, the issues are coming up in the community in a larger aspect. I also have, I think, their support, which has been a huge factor for me. I have all my in-laws behind me, my family behind me, and it's something that I needed at this time of my life. I wouldn't have been able to do this without them.
What are the issues that you think the community faces or your voters face in your constituency?
There are a few issues. Family values has been a large one that are on the top of people's minds. Crime has been something that's been really in the forefront in the last few weeks, especially. It's something that's been present, sort of in the background of people's minds. It's really pushed in front of everybody's thinking in the last couple of weeks due to the circumstances in Toronto. Healthcare is a big issue for people. Childcare. These are all issues. Accountability. They've all been brought in the forefront, and as you go around and speaking to people and different communities, they all have these issues that they're dealing with and want to see some answers on.
And what do you feel about your views on the same-sex marriage?
As you know, the Conservative Party has said that they will support traditional marriage, and I support that.
Is that part of the family values which you talk about?
I think so. You have to have sort of there's some basic definitions, and I believe that the family unit sort of starts at that basic definition of marriage being between a man and a woman. As far as same-sex couple rights are concerned, I believe that the civil union legislation protects those rights.
Do you want to stop it for a moment, Kandi? Arnjeet, what do you think of the justice system where criminals seem to have more rights than the victims?
I think that's another issue that the Conservative Party has been quite solid on. We have a strong justice system, and we just have to enforce those laws. And where we do find weakness, maybe prop those up as well. We have to have a system where victims' rights are considered, and also, along with having strong deterrents to prevent people. When you have a deterrent that's strong enough that you don't want to risk making the crime or committing that crime, that's a deterrent. And you also have to have a system in place that prevents children, specifically to youth crime, getting into that problem in the first place, dealing with the drug problem that is at the root of a lot of it. It's a two-pronged approach. You have to have strong deterrents, and you also have to have an approach to prevent the crime happening in the first place. You have to deal with the problems in society that are creating it.
So what are the big problems you think you have to deal with to stop the gun violence?
Part of it is making sure that if you're caught with a gun, just a loaded gun, if you're in a crime where you've used a gun, you have to pay for that crime, and you have to, with minimal sentences. And it's also a matter of you have to create a system where you, as I said, you don't want to take the risk of doing that crime. If you know that you're going to have a severe punishment, maybe you'll think twice before you commit a crime. Also, you have to have a system. It's part of the problem, I think, is that people are coming in and out of jail. It's just, different police groups have said that it's the same people they're seeing coming in and out. If you're on parole, and even some of the shootings that have occurred, the people that have been on parole for other crimes and they're back out now, they've killed somebody. Yeah, if you repeat offenders, you have to be in jail. You shouldn't be on the streets.
Well, people have a very negative view of politicians in general, with your education, your background, your profession. Mm-hmm. What's your view about that?
I think it's part of I'm new to politics, and I think part of it is just seeing politicians go back and forth with negativity instead of dealing with issues, talking about personal issues that between each other. I think when you have a little bit more civility in political arenas, I think that'll help in that situation. And I might like to say that more women in politics might help that. I think it tones things down when you have females involved in situations, and I think that'll help.
But in the roster of the election candidates, there are very few women and visible minorities.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you think it compares with the population in general?
It is quite a bit lower. I don't think it's reached 50% in any of the parties at this point. I think if the more of us that are willing to get out there and take that risk of taking that step into politics and have some degree of success, I think that encourages others in minority communities and within women themselves. It happens gradually, and hopefully as more and more women are successful and more minorities are successful, it'll encourage others.
What are your priorities if you win the election?
For me, it's healthcare is a big issue for me. I'm involved in the healthcare industry, and it's something that I'm concerned about. With people, Canadians are very lucky. We have a wonderful healthcare system. The problem is accessing it in a timely manner. That's an issue for me, as well as daycare. Having a system available for all parents to be able to access. These are all issues that I, as a mother, as a woman, are dear to me, as well as accountability. I think it's very important that if you've said you're going to do something, that you carry through, and I think those are the things that are important to me.
What are your idea of chances you feel about you winning the election?
I think I have a good chance. I won't know until January 23rd, of course. I'm not going to count any chickens before they're hatched or anything like that. But we're working hard and trying our best and to get through. Let myself be known in the community. But you won't know until January 23rd, and that's when we'll know the results.
Do you think because of the anti-liberal wave that's running the country, with the sponsorship scandals and all, you will be in the parliament? Obviously,
I hope I'll have that chance to represent the people of this riding. But again, I can't say until January 23rd. I don't want to try to predict. I'm not a political pundit by any means. I just do my best, work my hardest, and hopefully the results will show on January 23rd.
What is your message to the South Asians in general and your voters in particular?
I think I'd like to say to the South Asian community to get out there and vote. To make ourselves heard in the community, you have to get out there and vote and get involved in not only my political campaign. If there's somebody else that you're in another riding or even in this riding that you believe in, to get involved in the campaign, get involved in politics, and that's how you can make the South Asian voice stronger. Any ethnic minority, any minority, to become more visible, to get involved in politics and let your voice be heard.
The last night debate in Montreal, what do you think is the best point that Stephen Harper made?
I think he did a very good job of presenting a very stable, calm, and sticking to the points. He didn't get pushed off track, and I think that was a good thing. To sticking to the issues and just keep reiterating, what we offer Canada. I think he did a very good job in that sense.
And what is your views or your party's views on immigration?
We've already made an announcement about immigration policies that we want to make it easier for immigrants to have reunification of family in Canada, to reduce the landing fees, to make it also easier for professional immigrants to use their skills once they are here. We have a large problem of having skilled immigrants coming over and they're not being able to use their skills here. By revamping the immigration system, so possibly that you could have some sort of processes while you're waiting for your immigration papers, that this is what my qualifications are they good enough, or do I need to do something else while they're waiting for immigration, to deal with that before they come to Canada, so that when they're here, they've got all the upgrades, they have everything they need, that they can contribute to Canada with the skills that they have their training in.
Because people are selected on the basis of their qualifications and profession and everything, but when they come to Canada, none of these qualifications are recognized.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you studied here, that's okay, but a lot of people who have come from various regions of the world, and they have done very well in their professions, and when they come here, they are looking for the Canadian experience. So how do you think your party would help?
Well, as I said, that if you have those qualifications, if they're not recognized in Canada or if they have to be upgraded in Canada, if you do that during the immigration process while you're still in your home country, then once you get here, you have the qualification, and then you can get the job to get the experience. It's sort of a when you have the process where your qualifications aren't accepted, you can't upgrade. You have to work to get the money so you can upgrade, and then you're not working in your field. So by having those qualifications recognized, pre-recognized, then when you get here, you have a chance to get that job in the industry of your choice, and then regain the experience to further your career.
It's interesting to know that, because I haven't read anywhere in the media about this part of the Conservative Party platform.
Oh, it was announced in this area last week. It was a huge media event, and it was announced in front of quite a large audience by Stephen Harper in Raminder Gill's writing. Actually, it was quite a media event.
Yeah, that's where I heard it yesterday from him. But in the mainstream media, they haven't really talked much about it.
I've seen it there.
You have seen it there?
I have seen it there.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Well, wish you all the best.
Thank you.
And I hope you win the election, your first election.
Thank you very much. And thank you for this opportunity to reach your audience.
All the best.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.